United Nations member states committed themselves to the Millennium Development Goals, which include halving global poverty by 2015. And now that we have reached the year 2015, we'll take a look at Korea's efforts to promote a common prosperity in the world. It'll take at least 100 years for this country to recover from the war. U.S. General Douglas MacArthur said when the guns fell silent in the summer of 1953. The Korean War's devastation left much of South Korea in ruins. The first president of the newly formed Republic of Korea, Lee Seung-man, even sent U.S. President Eisenhower a letter to ask about financial aid. Back then, foreign aid from rich countries was the only means of survival for the country that was struggling to rise from the ashes. In the 50 years after 1945, Korea received more than $12 billion in international aid, which served as a seed for the extraordinary development of the once poverty-stricken country. In 1969, when the Korean government began the push for industrialization, it amounted 80 billion Korean won, accounting for a quarter of the government's annual budget. A half-century later, Korea is now the 8th largest trading nation. Some call this the miracle on the Han River. Without foreign aid, rapid economic growth was never achievable.
Korea, that used to be one of the largest recipients of foreign assistance, now became the 13th or 14th largest economy, as well as donor country.
Korea's graduation from the World Bank lending list in 1995 marked the end of Korea's history as a recipient country. Finally, Korea could pay back an assistance it received from the international community.
As a model of development and aid success, we have to pay back our debt to the world as an international donor. By fulfilling our obligations as a donor country, we can even sustain our strong economy.
Official Development Assistance, or ODA, refers to resource flows to developing countries provided by central and local governments of a donor country or other public international agencies. Financial and technical assistance are aimed at promoting economic and social progress of developing countries. In late 1980s, Korea accelerated its development assistance to meet responsibility corresponding to its expanded economic capacity and higher status in the international community. In 1991, Korea International Cooperation Agency, or KOICA, was founded as a government agency and started providing full-scale assistance for developing countries.
KOICA was founded in 1991, and 1991 means a lot in Korea's history because we joined the United Nations as a full member that year. It meant the starting point where we began making contributions for the prosperity of the international community.
The beginning was humble. Only 44 ODA volunteers were sent to Nepal, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and the Philippines, and these countries received only a small amount of financial aid. However, as the donor that has an experience of overcoming poverty, Korea knew what they really need.
Similar to other developing and the poorest countries, Korea had also suffered from colonization, wartime devastation both inside and outside the borders, followed by extreme poverty and hunger, as well as the separation of families. This is why Korea and its partner countries share a common bond of sympathy.
Lack of healthcare services and poor sanitation are two major issues for countries that suffer from extreme poverty. It was no different in Guarayos, Bolivia. The Korean government constructed much-needed water supply facilities within the region. The project was initially rejected by a different government 10 years ago after a feasibility study.
This project is extremely important for us to provide clean water to the citizens, especially young children. We use a lot cleaner water than we used to. Contaminated water has caused many common water-related diseases.
OECD says about 1 billion people around the world suffer from water shortages. Moreover, about 5 million children a year die for want of clear water. In that sense, the Korean government has been concentrating on ramping up the construction of additional water supply and healthcare facilities in the poorest countries. Education is another core element of Korea's ODA to offer development know-how. This is a job training academy located in Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan, and it is the only facility of this kind in the country. Fewer than 1 out of 4 applicants are accepted. Due to its popularity, local TV networks have come to film it.
What's best about the academy is that instructors provide courses tailored to each student's needs. I really enjoy learning Korean too.
In addition to the fact that it's free, a number of Korean experts in various fields, including machinery, electric, IT, and auto industry, provide the job training support.
Unlike other donor nations that have invested in primary and higher education, Korea has been focusing on vocational training based on the success in the past to train industrial manpower through specific development plans according to the phases of industrialization.
And this library.
Besides the vocational training center, there is also a campus set up in Uzbekistan by a Korean university. Inha University in Tashkent is Korea's first university campus abroad.
This joint project is directed to prepare well-qualified specialists in the field of ICT, information communication technologies field.
새마을운동, a political initiative launched in 1970 by South Korean President Park Chung-hee to modernize the rural South Korean economy, is now exported abroad as it became a new ODA model. Rather than merely providing funding, diligence, self-help, and collaboration are the slogans to encourage the community members to participate in the development process. Developing countries across Asia and Africa now take part in the program to learn about Korea's 새마을운동.
Hello, how do you do?
The year 2009 bears a special significance to the history of Korea's ODA. Korea became the 24th member of the OECD Development Assistance Committee, or DAC. Korea is the first nation in history to rise from a recipient to a donor country.
I think it offers great opportunity for developing countries to learn Korea's experience in economic development. Our story will give them hope that they too can become an advanced country.
It has been 5 years since Korea joined the DAC. Let's take a look at how much Korean ODA has improved. Korea ranked 16th out of 28 DAC member states in terms of total ODA volume. Korea's ODA to GNI ratio, the indicator of the level of aid relative to the size of the economy, remains at 0.13%, which is well below the average of 0.3%. However, as the motivation and national interest of ODA is being promoted, Korea's ODA has a lot of growth potential. With foreign assistance as the country's foundation for growth, Korea has risen from ruins of war to a flourishing economy. Now it's time for Korea to become a beacon of hope for many developing countries that want to accomplish another miracle on the Han River.